Right. Hello, welcome to a video. I'm cracking on with the C10 again, C20. Basically, what we need to do now is get it rolling again. There's a lot of things that will obviously show issues when we put it together. And I just want to dry build it before I paint all this front end again because, well, none of it's painted anymore. So, front end, drop spindles, etc. need to go on now. And then hopefully I can get it all mounted up and on the floor. And then if you've been watching it along, you'll know that I need to notch the chassis rail here, just like a half moon shape. Yeah, hopefully that shows all the issues that we need. We did the steering column in the last video. That's all mounted up. The steering box is raised, the subframe is raised. We have the drop spindles. Yeah, basically I need to just crack on with it. Obviously when it's aired out properly, it's not going to sit flush because that gearbox cradle is absolutely just in the wrong place. So that needs to be raised up on the ramp before putting the engine back in. Yeah, I'm going to crack on, start putting the front end together. I've got to strip all this horribleness down, unfortunately, which is it's just going to be a pain in the ass. It'll be loosely put together because obviously it has to come apart again to be painted, but don't want to paint it until it's all back together and I know everything's going to fit. Now obviously this is very much an unknown territory for me. This is something I've never done before. I've never worked on a truck. This is the first one. I'm just figuring out as I go along. I'm really hoping the seals lay on the floor. That's my plan. A lot of people in the States like Z the chassis. But personally, because we've got standard wheels on still, I don't think we need to. If not, it's going to be extremely close. We're talking like 10 mil, if that. From my calculations anyway. I'm not terribly sure, but that's what I think is going to happen. Because obviously we've just raised the subframe 2 inches. These drop block things, they are 2 inches. And then our drop spindles are 2.5 inches. So from standard, that is quite a lot of inches. Now, if you've been watching from the start, you'll know that I actually measured the sill to floor gap. And that was about 4.5 inches of drop that we needed. What we've actually added is a 2-inch lift to the subframe and 2.5-inch drop spindles. So that's 4.5 inches. What I didn't measure was how low the truck dropped without taking the shocks off. So the shocks, I do believe, had bottomed out because this truck would drive flat along the ground, fully aired out, no rubbing, it would just drive. The truck wouldn't lift until you put 40 PSI in the bag. So I feel like there's 40 mil of drop that was missing anyway, or 40 PSI's worth, which would probably be about 20 mil. I think what we got here might just perfectly lay on the ground. It's like, we're in the middle stage now where you just need to put it all together and actually see where we sit, because there's so many unknowns with this. You just got to do it really. Do it my own way. I did actually lose the bit of cardboard that I wrote everything down on, which is annoying, but there's a video of it somewhere on the internet, so I can go and find that. But yeah, today's plan, get all this front end on, get everything bolted up, and just try and get it on the floor and see.
That's fairly high up there.
As you can see. Well, that is the drop spindle on, subframe raised, clears the steering. Obviously the arm was never going to go that high, but there's plenty of clearance on there. We're very, very close to actually going in, to be fair. Just a half moon notch needs to go there. Got no shock on at the minute, but I've noticed straight away that, you know, that ball joint is absolutely crying, and that's what's stopping it going further, I think. It's just at such an adverse angle that it's just not allowing you to go any further. Which if you look here, it looks like there's more to come out of there. But this is on full drop, obviously. I'm going to put the wheel on. I'm going to show you my little trick that I like to do. Heavy, isn't it? Oh, you're joking. Just got the wrong studs. Look at this. So obviously I can't bolt the wheel on right now, but what I can show you is all my measurements were correct. It doesn't take a genius to show that wheel is higher than the pinch weld of the sill. So that is, yeah, that's up there. That's all the way up there. So what my little trick is, if you put this level on the sill, we're pretty much level, hang on. If I put it actually underneath, we're pretty much level. Bring that over here. Pretty much level there. And we are well underneath the tyre. So, yeah, we're winners there. So that's a little trick. So I know for a fact that the chassis rail is higher than the pinch weld. I now know the pinch weld is lower than the tyre on full drop. And upon that, the tyre is also going to squish probably so much at the same time. So we're winners there as well. So yeah, all that work we've now done will now allow the truck to lay flat on the ground. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to know. What I can do now is simulate where the track rod's going to be on full drop as well, which is where I'm going to notch it, which is good. So that's really made me pleased, because I was on the edge like, oh, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? How close are we? But stock wheels, all that work we've done gets it to lay flat on the ground, which is perfect. It's exactly what I wanted to happen. I wasn't going to settle for anything less than 3 mil off the ground. It needs to be laying completely flat. So I'm happy with how that is. I can actually continue on with the rest of it now without putting it all back together. You can't really see it in camera, but the chassis rail is higher. The only thing that is lower is that gearbox cradle and that centre prop bearing there. So I need to try and skinny that up. So, right, got the track rod end on, new track rod end. As you can see, that's where it's going to hit. I've marked it directly in the middle. What we've got there is full lock and full drop. So cut that semicircle out of there. I've notched it from the back side. Because of the original notch we had, it made the notch really weird just because of the way this notch swooped round like that. I had to then join this one into it. Bit strange how it all worked out, but that's what it is. I'm going to brace the inner, I'm going to box the inner chassis rail down here just to tidy it up, neaten it up, and obviously put more strength into it at the same time. Obviously at ride height, none of this is even going to come into any contact whatsoever, but in case of emergency where a bag bursts and it needs to be driven off the road or whatever, we can still get full lock. We're going to have enough room clearance wise on the arches anyway, I imagine, to turn because the wheels are so skinny, but I just wanted to make sure it could turn on full drop as well, just because it's safer that way. I just like to think of all areas as I'm doing this sort of thing. And that's how I wanted to do both sides. But obviously our steering box notch was a bit of a pain in the ass. Obviously, I'm gonna weld underneath the notches, everything, both sides once it's on the ramp, because I'm not laying on the floor upside down. It's not gonna be a good job. I'm just drawing around the hole saw to even that out correctly, so it matches both sides. I basically didn't have all this side together because this was actually a bigger notch than that one. I just measured, got the same hole each side, here and here. So I literally just measured off there and done all the angles and stuff. I basically matched it to the other side, so I'm confident that it's not gonna rub. There you go, that's ovaled out the same as the other side. So, I don't know if I actually explained this properly in the video, but I'm just looking at it now and thought I didn't actually explain it. If I did this style of notch here, now this section, like where this comes down here, this section, if that was here, this pitman arm would hit it. So it has to be like over the top, touching onto that, so this arm can move directly into it basically. So that couldn't be used on this side. I'm trying to get that into perspective. That's why I've done this so fucking weirdly and strange, which, well, I don't know, is what it is really. So to conclude this video, what we've established is we now have steering. We now have steering on full drop. We've got 2 notches, and the truck lays completely flat, seals on the ground. I think that's a win. So now what I can do is I can, as annoying as it is, put it back together, get it rolling, get it on the ramp, do everything I need to do on the chassis, on the ramp, like in the middle. And then once it's all apart on the ramp, I can spray everything I've done work-wise on there. And then I can start getting it back together, which is, well, the end goal. So that's it for this one. I'm going to edit this probably tonight when I get home very late. And then, yeah, that'll be that. Thanks for watching.